What's going on, guys? I am Toxic Jordan. Welcome back to the channel. So today we're going to be taking down Stage 9 of the GOKU'S Edition Red Zone here versus the Universe Survival Saga. So we do have a special mission to take this down with 5 Power Beyond Super Saiyan characters. So this is the cheeky little team build that I've come up with, because in the very final phase of this fight, we are going to be facing off against a Jiren that has dodge canceling. We'll just keep that in mind for the tech UIs here that are going to be providing, you know, the dodge ability. Kind of the train of thought here was that the LR Gods were like the main unit I wanted to go to, because they are, you know, a Power Beyond Super Saiyan leader. Thought it would be fun to use them, but then when I realized the very final phase has dodge canceling, this actually makes it a really bad stage for the LR Gods. So there's only one way to go about, you know, fighting against that dodge canceling, and that is to use Tech UI. And as it happens, the Jiren at the end is going to be AGL, so the LR Gods and both Tech UIs are going to have type advantage over him as well. So that's going to be really helpful for us. Okay, let's see. How do we want to start out here? So for this Bergamo phase up front, he's very, very weak, and then with every attack he receives, he's getting minuscule amounts of attack and defense, but up to 1,000%. So he's just going to be infinitely stacking attack and defense, basically, with every attack that hits him. But he only has 100 million HP, so it's probably not going to take us too many turns to get through. Yeah, he doesn't hit that hard. Okay, so now it's just going to be a matter of, like, figuring out the way we want our rotations. We don't have to deal with character locking until Phase 4, right prior to that dodge canceling Phase 5, which will be the final phase. So for now, I guess... I know we're going to want to have the LR Gods on rotation, on one of these rotations, because they're going to be somebody that's building up for us. I guess the same could be said about the Giant Ape Goku. Like, once he goes Super Saiyan 4, he's going to be infinitely stacking, so maybe that would be a good idea to keep him on rotation. I guess for now, then, we can just do this. Because the tech UIs aren't permanently stacking. They're only getting 1 turn raises, right? Yeah. Okay. Alright, yeah. In that case, we'll just leave this how it is. Oh, I didn't even bother checking if Gotenks' full passive is active on this team. Because he needs... he needs a final trump card ally on the team. He kind of needs that. That's a really big portion of his kit. I didn't even double check if anybody else's final trump card. I'm pretty sure... Yeah, like this guy is. Okay, we're fine. Then he's got what we needed active out of his passive, right? Okay, so one of the things that kind of is bad about this team is we don't really have slot 1 units. We are going to be using the LR Gods as kind of like a pseudo slot 1, just because they are able to build up to really high numbers of defense, so we're going to hope that that's, like, enough. And then, obviously, for their very first turn out, they're going to have that ability. But yeah, I mean, I guess the tech UIs are fine, right? Because they can still dodge in slot 1. That'll be fine. It won't be as, like, it won't be a sure bet, but it should be good enough. Wow, we did take quite a bit of damage there up front, though, huh? That is a bit interesting. I guess Gotenks' extra, like, high chance to proc the 777 defense just didn't proc there, and that's why that happened. Maybe for that case, it probably would be a better idea to keep Tech UI as, like, a de facto slot 1. That's definitely what we're going to be doing on this next rotation. Well... Because the other thing is, the more hits we can get for the Int Vegeta, the quicker we're going to be able to get that revive activated. It's probably wise to not rush it, though. Just in case there is another slot 1 super here, he might take a lot of damage. So yeah, let's go ahead and put Tech UI here. We'll just play it safe, try and get the dodges in if we can. I guess we can just select some same type orbs for a little bit of healing here. That could be good. Oh, though the physical Gogeta is also going to be permanently stacking defense, huh? So that could be another unit that might be wise to keep on rotation more, just so he can continue to build up for us. Yeah, we'll see. We'll see how things are going to go. I would assume that around the time of that character locking phase, is when we're going to want to have that revive available. We still have 2 more phases before then. So yeah, hopefully we'll be able to get that. Oh, he's got an AoE too. Oh my goodness. Yeah, this is going to be a little bit brutal. Not going to lie. So yeah, honestly, the slower that we can go through this event, the better. So that we can allow our stacking units to stack a little bit more before we get to the really, really scary phases of the fight, right? And obviously, by that point, we're going to have a lot of our active skills available and stuff. But probably, I mean, I don't know. I've been doing this thing a lot, right? Where I bring these teams where it's like the entire team has active skills available to them. And I don't end up proccing a lot of their active skills until like later in the fight. Which I guess, Speaking of which, do we want to wait to transform with Super Saiyan 4 Goku right now? I think it would be smartest to do it right now. In the essence of moving slowly through the fight, this would probably be the best idea, to transform him right now. Let's go ahead and do that. Just because we're going to finish off this phase no matter what, and I would rather not take turns away from a future phase by transforming him later, right? So yeah, let's go ahead and do this now. And then also, if we are able to KO the enemy with these attacks right here, then that means we'll carry on to the next phase, and we'll still be on this same rotation, which means the LR gods are going to have their 77% damage reduction still, if there are any potential slot 1 attacks. And then it also means that they're going to have a full pool of HP to work with to be able to do a bunch of super attacks and build up a lot of attack and defense, rather than just doing like 1 super or something, and then they would have just KO'd this guy, and we would have moved on to the next rotation, right? It would have been a complete waste of their first turn. So yeah, I think this works out well. Okay, so this next phase is actually going down in HP a little bit. We're only going to have 80 million HP instead of 100. It looks like we have a damage threshold to deal with. I don't know exactly what that threshold's going to be. Maybe we'll find out. And then we're going to be facing off against a 30% attack raise with each turn passed, up to 100%. Okay. Normals are going to hit for 500k. Super attack hits for 1.4 million, but they're going to be greatly raising their attack by 50% on super. So that super is actually going to do more like 2.1 million, and then the normals are going to hit for like 750 after the super attack. Okay. Still not too detrimental for us, not too much damage to worry about. And then, yes, same deal. This is their first turn, so we've got all that damage reduction, keeping them safe. Unfortunately, the orbs didn't work out quite in our favor. That's a little bit boo. We weren't able to even get the 18 key super with them. So that kind of sucks. But it shouldn't be the biggest deal on the planet. I think we'll be alright. And then I guess, yeah, we could just grab these for Gotenks. The orbs are not set up amazingly for next turn, but it shouldn't matter too much anyway. Okay, so Kale launching a super attack right away just means that all the attacks for the rest of the turn are going to hit harder. But I think all of our units here are going to be defensively viable enough to handle it, so should not be too big of a problem. I'm actually surprised that super attack procced when it did. This Kale only has an 18% chance to proc the super. And it launched right away. And then there's a cooldown of 8, but because the super attack was launched so early, most of that cooldown is already gone with the rest of the normal attacks for the turn, right? So, probably only going to see, like, well, I guess it's unlikely we see a slot 1 super, because the cooldown would still need to finish with another, like, 2 attacks or so in that first slot on the next turn, so we'll keep that in mind as we move forward. But either way, it doesn't matter. We're going to have a tech UI up front, because we have 2 of them on rotation, so we want to split them. Okay, how much damage are we doing here? Are we KOing the phase? Ideally, no. Oh, no, no, no. Not even close, not even close. Okay. That's good, yeah. I would like to prioritize doing like the bulk of the damage on this rotation so that the LR gods can build up as much as possible, and then like finish off the little bits we have left on the opposite rotations. Though we didn't even do 50% of the damage we would have needed to. Interesting. Okay. So yeah, as predicted, we don't really need much ki this turn. We're just going to focus on same type orb selection for that Dokkan gauge and for a little bit of healing here, since our HP is not catastrophically low, but also not, you know, as maxed out as it could be. It's actually looking like we might proc that Dokkan attack early, which I wouldn't mind. I wouldn't mind that at all. I don't want to proc it on this next phase against Super Saiyan 2 Kefla. I would like to be able to get through this entire next phase without proccing the Dokkan attack, but then beyond that we have 2 phases of Jiren, one of which is going to be a character locking AoE phase, and then the other is going to be the dodge canceling phase. So I would be okay with the Dokkan attack on either one of those phases. Let's see here. Kefla's HP is 160 million coming up, so the HP pool is literally about to double on this next phase, so I would say it's probably mathematically impossible that we wait all the way until the very last phase to get the Dokkan attack. We're probably going to get it on the first phase of Jiren, which is totally alright. That's the AoE phase anyway, so that's probably the scariest phase, especially because the scary thing about the final phase is the fact that it disables dodge, but we have our tech UIs to make sure that that isn't going to be an issue for us, right? So yeah, I think that this is actually working out perfectly. We're just going to have to make sure to not accidentally get the Dokkan attack on the Kefla phase. That would be the worst possible case scenario. Shoot, and it's looking like we're going to have to waste 1 extra turn of charges. No. I really would have liked to get the KO here. That hurts. That hurts so bad for the LR gods, right? That is not good. That's quite horrible. Because that means they're only going to get 1 attack in on the turn, and that's not good for their build-up. All 3 of these units need to build up, in fact. Let me remind myself. So he is doing raising defense on 18 ki. And then once we transform him, he loses that ability, right? Yeah, he does. So I think because some of this stuff rolls off of his kit, let's see. From the next attacking turn. Okay, we're not going to need his ability for a little bit, so I'm going to keep him in base and hopefully try and stack with him a little bit more. He hasn't really gotten any stacks at all, so yeah, I would ideally like to do that. We'll see. We'll see what happens. Okay, at least we're able to get the 18 ki with the LR gods. Because of this extra turn that we had to take, I'm going to try and avoid selecting same type orbs. Obviously, it would be nice for the healing, but I think it's going to be even better to make that Dokkan gauge build a little bit slower, just so that we don't accidentally proc the Dokkan attack on this next fight against Kefla. It looks like she's actually going to be able to help us out with the same type orb selection, because she's going to be randomly changing the key field at the start of every turn. So that's good. Let's see. This is probably the first phase where we're actually in danger of taking a little bit of damage too, because she's got a 2.2 million super attack, and she's going to be raising her attack and defense by 30% upon super, as well as 820k for the normals. Okay. Alright, no reason to proc the domain yet. We're definitely just going to wait until Jiren for that. Oh, you know, one thing I just thought about with the domain, though, is that Jiren falls under that domain. We'll cross that bridge when we come to it, but we're going to be buffing him with the domain, in fact. That's kind of, yeesh. Something to think about, I suppose. Okay. How do we do this? How do we do this? Okay, we don't need to prioritize setting up orbs for next turn at all, because she's going to change the key field, as we just talked about. Let's see here. Yeah, I don't want same type orbs because of that Dokkan gauge. So let's just grab these. And then, yeah, we can get all these for Go Tanks. Okay, this should work out for us. We'll see, we'll see. Obviously, UI Goku's going to need to dodge if there's a super attack coming his way. Normal attacks even are not going to be the best. Okay, come on, let's see that. Ugh, he got hit by it. Okay, well, that's a KO for sure. Obviously, that's the risk you run with dodge units. That's a bit unfortunate. There was a possibility for us to have the int Evolution Blues revive up at that point, but we just didn't have it up yet. Okay, no worries though. Let's go ahead and jump in. Ew, excuse me. No way I'm using that unit. Let's go ahead and jump in with the same team again. I think we can definitely do this. I'm gonna use a support memory. I'm gonna use this support memory for the or no, that's bond of parent and child. I thought there was this one. Yeah, Power Beyond Super Saiyan. Okay, we're gonna use this one. That's gonna give everybody a buff on the team except for the Tech UI. Which, is he on bond of parent and child? Because maybe there could be a case. He is on bond of parent and child, so if everyone else is, I know they are. Is he? Yes, he probably is not, right? He's not, okay. Maybe if I use the bond of parent and child one. Yeah, we'd be trading out the Tech UIs that are not on this one for the physical Gogeta, and then the Tech Gotenks would not be on the other one. Okay, yeah, I think I do like that idea. Let's do the bond of parent and child one. Just because I think prioritizing the power for the Tech UIs is going to be really important when we get to the end of the fight. Whereas the other two have a lot of defensive mechanics just built into their kit in base, so we don't really have to worry too much about that. Okay, back to the start. Well, we had a little bit of a better starting rotation here because we got the LR Gods right away. So they're going to be able to start stacking up for us immediately. That's very, very good. And then, yeah, there's not like a super strong idea for my following rotation. I guess, again, like, keeping the physical Gogeta around would be good, but he is our slot 7 this time, so he's about to get floated on the next turn and probably not do any attacks. So that is a little bit unfortunate, just with the way the cookie crumbled on that one. And we don't have any stacking units on the next rotation, either. Yeah, that's really gonna hurt. Maybe we should keep... I'm not sure if it's going to be a better idea for us to rotate off the Giant Ape Goku, or if we should keep him on rotation where he's at. Because if we keep him on rotation where he's at, he could be a stacking unit that we prioritize on the opposite rotation, instead of having him on the same rotation as the gods. But then I also do kind of like the idea of having a Universe Survival Saga rotation where we can keep the Int Evolution Blue alongside the Tech UI, or one of the Tech UIs anyway, and then have the other Tech UI floating. I kind of liked the way that was set up, but... Yeah, no, that is the right idea, just because the Super Saiyan 3 Goku is going to be providing a lot of support, but an even more massive amount of support to Power Beyond Super Saiyan characters. And the only units on the team that are not Power Beyond Super Saiyan are the Tech UIs. And I'm just now realizing this, like 20 minutes into the video, I forgot to show off the mission specifically, but the wording for the mission, you only need 5 Power Beyond Super Saiyan characters. That's why I decided to use the Tech UI team in the first place, because Tech UI himself is not Power Beyond Super Saiyans, right? So yeah, we definitely want to rotate him off. That's final answer at that point. And then because of how early we were looking at proccing that Dokkan attack on the last time around, I think I'm going to try and not select same type orbs early on here in the fight while we can help it, just to make sure we're not overfilling the gauge and then prematurely proccing that Dokkan attack, right? That's probably the better way to go. And I think we are moving a little bit quicker, because last time it took us 3 turns to finish this fight, which I guess we might end up seeing the same here, but so far it's looking possible, especially with the Super Saiyan 3 Goku in that 3rd slot. It's looking possible we could KO here in just 2 turns. I guess we'll see. Moving slower is going to be advantageous for the amount of stacks that we can get for our stacking characters, but moving quicker is going to be nice for, you know, lining up that Dokkan attack where we want it. So let's see what Super Saiyan 3 Goku's got in the tank for us. Looks like it's going to be enough. Okay, so this is actually really good because that means that the physical Gogeta that we have to float here is actually going to get some attacks. Yeah, that works out well. Okay, right now our defense is 960. That's still higher than the Kale's attack stat. Not higher than Kale's super attack stat, though. So that could be a little bit risky. I think it's probably better to put Tech UI in slot 1 because of that. As much as I hate to do it. That is the final answer. That's what we're going to do here. And then hopefully with one more turn of stacks, we'll be good here. Okay, I'm going to break my rule and go for some same type orbs just so that we can get a full 24 key there and those couple of rainbow orbs. That's going to help dish out a lot more damage. Like, if we're heavily nerfing the amount of damage that we do for a turn, then it's obviously not going to be advantageous in the long run to savor the Dokkan gauge a little bit, right? Because ultimately it would just take more turns to deplete the enemy, which means more turns of selecting orbs anyway. And if we do end up in the case where the enemy has like a sliver of HP that we have an entire turn of orb selection to deal with, then that's three, at the very minimum, 3 orb procs. And if we're forced into the same type orb selection at all, then that would be double, you know, towards the Dokkan gauge. Whereas right now, what we just did was 1 extra proc on the Dokkan gauge because of selecting same type versus just type neutral orbs, right? Okay, yeah, I think our rotation served us a little bit better this time around. Obviously, it did help that we didn't get slot 7'd with the LR Gods this time. So that was a huge benefit for us. And in attempting to avoid the super attack, we ran right into it. That's perfectly fine. I think, yeah, I was going to say, post-super attack, we should still be fine enough to tank. So that is no big deal. Alright, and then hopefully we're able to put in enough work here with Gogeta to make it so that on the next turn, we can finish off Kale. That way when we come back around to the rotation where we, you know, have all these stackers we're prioritizing, they'll have like a full HP pool to work with. Okay, so we could. I don't like that idea. I'm torn between running my rotation like this. No, let's do this, yeah. I think this is going to be overall a better idea, because we know we're going to be floating at least one of the LR Gods, since we're going to keep the Super Saiyan 3 Goku on that other rotation. So yeah, I wouldn't want to run into a situation where we have like a full tech rotation because of Gotenks being here and stuff too. Yeah, this will work out fine. I think this shares the love nicely. Okay, so same deal. Let's try and avoid same type orb selection. We'll grab all of these orbs. Grab these for Vegeta here. And then, yeah, I guess we'll get these for Gotenks. Remember, we do want to go all out here. We want our best possible chance to KO this Kale right here. Wow, it's a good thing that there wasn't a super attack up front, since we're incapable of dodging. Holy moly. Hopefully a Tech UI not dodging doesn't bite us in the ass again, right? Definitely could. He just dodged 0 out of 3 attacks there. 70% chance, by the way. Okay, there we go. With that critical hit, the deal has been sealed. We are definitely going to finish off the phase here. But that is a little bit unfortunate that we're finishing this off. Oh, he did get the other attack too. No, because now he's not taking any hits for the turn. So that doesn't help us build toward the revive, where he's still a bit of ways away from, right? Okay. So now here is the point where we're going to want to transform. With the Super Saiyan 3 Goku. Yes. Yeah. We're going to do that now. We have a full, fresh HP pool to work with, so that's not going to be a problem or anything. You know, kind of taking away from the other units that would be able to maximize their stacks and stuff with this HP pool. Now is as good a time as any. And in fact, we probably would have been in a little bit of danger, because on the last run, we managed to transform him at the end of the very first phase against Bergamo, and we are all the way on the third phase at this point against the Kefla now. So, yeah, he probably wasn't going to be able to tank without being transformed anyway. All right, and she did launch her super attack, so now that is one less thing we're going to have to worry about on this next upcoming rotation. Let's see. But her attack is raised for the turn, which does count once we defuse out of this transformation. Her attack is still going to be raised from that super attack. So a 30% stack on top of 820k for normals. So she's going to be at like a little over 1 million. Like 11 million, or 1.1 million, I guess. Okay. So yeah, we'll just keep that in mind with the defense numbers that we've got on our units. Hopefully the LR gods are above that 11 million number. That would be quite convenient. That we could just throw them slot 1 and not worry. Let's see. Oh yeah, 1.7 million. Okay, they're handedly above that at this point. No worries then. Okay, I'm going to prioritize getting these orbs for them so they can at least get the 18 key off. Unfortunately, they don't get the 20 key. They're just 1 key shy of it. So that's going to hurt a little bit for their ability to do the additional. And then for Tech UI, I guess we'll just grab these. Get them the most orbs possible. Oh yeah, we're now kind of in the range where we did salvage pretty hard for that Dokkan gauge. So it's looking like we're not really in danger of proccing it too early. I suppose if we were able to hold out as much as possible and not select same type orbs at all at any point, we might be able to hold it all the way until the very final phase. But this next phase against Jiren that we're going up against has 350 million HP. So it's probably going to take quite a few turns to get through that. I imagine the Dokkan attack is probably going to proc at some point there. So basically, that's my long-winded way of saying I'm not really going to prioritize not selecting same type orbs. I think at this point, it's going to be the best to try and build that gauge up as quickly as possible to get us through that AoE phase. And then also to start prioritizing same type orb selection to make sure we're at 100% HP by the time we get to the AoE phase to begin with. Because some of these characters are definitely going to be taking a little bit of damage from those AoEs each turn, right? So yeah, the chip damage is going to be very important. That extra, like, 100k we could gain back from healing right now would be really, really important. So yeah, starting next turn, that is going to be the full-on strat. Same type orb selection all the way. Okay, and then hopefully no hopefully no shenanigans with Tech UI getting hit from attacks. This is exactly what I was about to say, as he got hit. Luckily, he was able to double-digit tank, though, so that's not too big of a worry. Okay, so now, with Gogeta, I am still going to keep him off rotation. I still want to run my rotations the same way. But do we transform him here? Because he's not going to have access to the target skill mechanic where he dodges all of the attacks for the turn. You know, and takes all the attacks away from the rest of our allies until the turn after we transform him into blue. That's when we'll have that available. But I think it's probably going to be wisest for us to use that on the int UI phase rather than the physical or the int Jiren phase rather than the AGL Jiren phase at the very end. So with that in mind, I think it's probably smart to transform him now. Okay. Yep, I've talked myself through it enough here. That makes sense to me. So let's go ahead and transform him into blue. And then there we go. That gives us our full heal as well. So that's pretty good. Okay, sure. That'll work out. I'm hoping that at the moment I'm not putting too much stake in being able to... what's it called? Being able to, like, blow through that AoE phase and then having nothing left in the chamber for the very final phase. That's what I'm hoping. Okay, so here's another thing to consider. Oh, gosh. I kind of want to put him in slot 1. How many attacks has he taken? 0. He's literally taken 0 attacks through the entire 6 turns so far. I want to get that revive available for him. I have a feeling it's going to come in handy. So I guess we're just going to take the gamble here then. And he'll get the 5 hits on this turn. He just has to take the hits, right? So yeah, I think that's what we're going to do. Oh, I'm so nervous about doing this. I'm so nervous that that's not the right answer. Because obviously if there's like a slot 1 super, what's his defense look like right now? I mean, he's at 1,000,000 defense and he's got 30% damage reduction. Maybe we'd be okay. No, not against her super. She does 2.2 million. Yeah, that's... But we do have type advantage too. I don't know. It's tough to say. It's tough to say, honestly. Just hopefully there's not a slot 1 super. And there it is. Oh my goodness. Yeah, we're gonna get KO'd here. I can feel it. Oh! Wow, no, okay. Yeah, I guess the damage reduction on top of the type advantage really helped him out there. That's good. Alright, well, good stuff. Then we definitely made the right choice. So he's taken 2 attacks now. We just need him not to KO. So that he can take 3 more normals here, and then starting from the next turn onward, he's going to have access to his revive. Okay, it's a good thing that last attack was not a super. So there we go. And that is 5 hits received. Awesome. Okay, that was a very good gamble then. And I guess it was nice to know that he had the ability to tank that super up front. Because had Tech UI gotten hit by that, well, we know what would have happened. Would not have been good things. Would not have been good things. Okay. And then we did already transform Gogeta, so it doesn't really matter that he gets attacks in here. Would have been cool if he was still in base, because then obviously that would be an additional defense raise for him. But yeah, this isn't really going to do too much in favor of stacking or anything like that. Still good, though. Alright, don't leave her with the sliver. Just KO her. Just KO her. Oh, good thing we got the other additional. My goodness. Yeah, because obviously, again, the LR gods being able to stack and stuff is going to be very important, right? With a sliver of HP left, that would have been a very minuscule turn for them. Would not have liked that. Alright. So, we've got some nasty stuff coming in. Character locking. We've got AoE attacks. All kinds. Okay. So, we have some decisions to make here. First of all, in base, this guy has a 1.4 million attack stat. Here, let's go ahead and take a look at it on the wiki. This guy has a 1.4 million attack stat. His super attacks are going to hit really hard, 3.9 million. And then his AoE damage is the same as his normals. So the very first person to take an AoE is 1.4, and then all the subsequent AoE damage is less. It's going to be 700k. So keeping this 1.4 in mind, we need to decide who's going to be our slot 1. So yeah, he cannot go slot 1. I want him to go slot 1 because, okay, so the gods got locked in slot 2 is the thing. I want him to go slot 1, but with only 500k defense, and he gets all of this extra stuff when attacking. Yeah, he's just going to get hit so hard in slot 1. There's no reason to put him there. So we have really no choice then. We have to put Gotenks up front. But Gotenks' defense is pretty minuscule as well. Obviously, he's dealing with like a lot more damage reduction and things like that. So I think what we'll go ahead and do... Do I want to transform with the gods yet? I don't think so. Especially because we know they're not going to be taking a super attack. It's going to be up to one of the other 2 units here. Let's not transform with them. Give them one more turn of stacking. But I think I do want to use the Gotenks active here for the extra defense. Just in case he does have to tank a slot 1 super or something like that. Could be good. So yeah, let's go ahead and... oh, I guess I can't put him in slot 2 anyway. Yeah, so let's go ahead and launch his active. We'll do a little bit of damage here for free, which is nice. And then it'll give us the defense buff for the turn. Okay. Man. Again, I would like to get the 24 key for him. Does he need 24 key specifically for anything in his passive, or is it just the 18 key? Yeah, 24 key, he's going to be getting guaranteed crits and a lot more damage, so screw it. Let's go for it. 24 key, coming in hot. There we go. And then, there we go. We got pretty lucky with the orb changing, or with the orbs, the way they dropped. So yeah, we'll get 4 rainbow orbs for the gods. That's going to be a pretty good chance for them to crit as well and do a lot of damage here. And then I think I want to save the tech orbs for next turn. No, let's just go for all out, full 24 keys, so we can get guaranteed crits all around. Well, obviously the gods don't have guaranteed crits, but they have a better chance to crit. Okay, there we go. I'm glad I used the active skill. Let's hope that... Oh, man, his additional defense didn't proc. That high chance for the additional defense did not proc there. So, unfortunately, we take a KO. And oh man, okay. We can definitely do it with this team. God, that's really it? Okay. Yeah, that was just really unfortunate, because if Gotenks' passive had procced here, right here, high chance of defense 777, he would have double-digit tanked that. It just didn't proc. That's all that happened there. Okay, so what I'm going to go ahead and do is, since we've gotten all the way to the Int Jiren phase, we've played through the fight multiple times, I am just going to get there on my own, and then once we get back to the Int Jiren phase, I will meet back up with you guys, and we'll keep going. Okay, so we are back to the Int Jiren phase here. I did run my rotations a little bit differently this time. I still went with this, you know, the LR gods with... Oh, they got locked in slot 2 again, dude. Oh, that's actually really unfortunate. Okay, so despite all my best efforts to avoid this, we are still in the exact same situation as last time, where we have to depend on the Gotenks for a slot 1 dodge. The gods' defense is high enough to defend against this guy's normal attacks, so we shouldn't have to worry about transforming them yet. We can still leave them untransformed for one more turn. But yeah, like all those initial super attacks coming in, so we do have to launch his active. We have no choice here. But yeah, this time around, I did make sure to get the revive available for Vegeta pretty early on, so that will be ready for us as we come back to the next rotation. And then I did get a couple of extra stacks for the physical Gogeta. We were able to keep him on the other rotation for a little while and stack him up. And then we just transformed him to blue last turn, so we'll be able to use the target skill on the next upcoming turn here. But that is, again, assuming that we survive with Gotenks. He has to eat whatever super attack is going to be launched here, which I imagine is a guaranteed launch, so... yeah, here's hoping that we live that, I guess. And then let's see. I do again want to try and get 24 key for all of these guys. For the LR gods, it's mostly important that we get 20 key. So yeah, that should do it for them. Perfect. And then for the Super Saiyan 3 Goku, we can just do this. Yeah, the orbs are gonna look kind of bad on the next turn. but we do have that AoE or the target skill coming in on the next turn, so hopefully that'll be helpful. Okay, so there we go. We get the little buff from him receiving an attack, so that's extra defense on top of the defense that we got from the active skill effect. So hopefully we proc the additional 50%. Yes, there we go. That's what should have happened last time. A double-digit tank. You love to see it. Now, unfortunately for us, Jiren does stun you 100% of the time when you receive a super attack from him. So that is going to mean that we do no damage because he also has a, a damage threshold that we are not able to pass with just a normal attack. So yeah, we'll have to pay closer attention over these next couple of turns worth of attacks and see what that damage threshold actually looks like it is. So we know it could be 10 million, could be lower, since we just managed to deal 10 million there. Okay, so it's much lower because we just dealt 6 million there, so it's probably like 6 million, 5 million, something like that, which is not too bad. The damage caps only really start being super effective and hurting you when they're like the Goku Frieza ones, right? Like 10 million plus. That's when it starts to look really, really bad. Okay, 31 million attack stat with guaranteed crits coming in here. Man, I'm a little bit nervous about this fight. This AoE phase is clearly not going to be that easy for us to get through. I don't know that we have enough like really strong characters to handle this. Let's see. So, for this turn, we have... Oh, UI Goku got locked in slot 1. Okay, so now we have some decisions to make, for sure. We could go with the Gogeta. Let's see, who's slot 7 again? Oh, right. Super Saiyan 4 Goku. Maybe it would be smart for me to save Gogeta and then just go with one of the domains activating. I don't know. This is really scary. Okay, so this is the part where we have to consider the domain here, right? Because the domain effect... Superclass allies and enemy get 15%, plus 15% attack for Realm of Gods characters. So Jiren is going to be getting both of those. So basically what I'm considering with the domain is it also gives him the transformation into the Mastered UI state, which is going to give him guaranteed dodges. So if there is a super attack up front, then he'll dodge it. And we should be safer to like live the rotation. And then we would still have one Tech UI left to be able to guarantee evasion in the final phase. Assuming that only took us like 3 turns or so to take down. I don't know if it's going to be preemptive to do that. But the other thing, so basically why I'm considering, like, obviously we could just throw out this target skill mechanic right now. The reason I don't want to is because we have the revive available. So worst comes to worst, I would rather make the riskier decision now and then save that for later because we have the potential to revive right now if needed. So yeah, I think with that considered, let's go ahead and do that. Let's go ahead and do that. Though we're going to be buffing up Jiren. I'm so scared to do that. Okay, no time like the present. Let's go for it. So yeah, let's just go ahead and activate the domain. Give ourselves a much better chance to survive the rotation, and then also do a lot more damage too, right? But yeah, it is really scary that he's going to be doing more damage to us. I don't know how I feel about that. Actually, I do know how I feel about that, and it's not good. Okay, so let's get this, because we do need Rainbow Orbs with the physical Gogeta, right? I want to try and maximize his defensive capabilities as well. Let's see. Yeah, as long as we get 1 Rainbow Key Sphere, then he gets an additional super. That's all we need. Okay. Okay, good to know, good to know. He's got the great chance to evade, all that. All right. sweet. Yeah, yet another unit that's going to be taking advantage of the evasion chance, right? Oh, we're getting really close to that Dokkan attack, too. Oh, yeah. This is actually really good. Okay. That's the one last piece to the puzzle that eases my mind a bit here, right? Is having that Dokkan attack coming. So yeah, we're going to be able to get that next turn with the LR Gods. Beautiful. Assuming that they don't get locked out of slot 1, right? Okay, there we go. And that was the slot 1 super that we were going to probably get KO'd by. So there we go. Now we don't have to worry about that. We'll be safe for the turn. And then now we have the target skill mechanic that's going to be saved for a future rotation. And honestly, it might even be smart to save that for the last phase of the fight, if we can help it. But we'll see. We'll see. We still have probably a couple of turns here on this Int Jiren phase before we're worried about getting to that final phase at all, so... Alright, hopefully this one will do enough damage to actually... Yeah, okay. All those other counters that were pre-super were just hitting so weak we weren't even reaching the damage threshold, right? So that's at least nice to be doing a little bit of damage. That's one of the really scary things when you're using all these, like, big boss abilities that your units build up to, is that once you've used them, you really want to be dishing out as much damage as possible, because once you lose all those abilities, then you have nothing left to protect you, and it's very easy to take KOs at that point. So yeah, that's not the position you want to be in with like a lot of enemy HP left once you're post-active on everybody. Obviously, for some characters, it doesn't really make as much of a difference because of... Oh my, that's a lot of damage. Holy moly. Wow. That was quite scary. Oh, yay, we get some more counters in here from the AoE attack. That's nice. Okay, please dodge those. Holy... Oh... Yeah, his defense is definitely not that high, right? We did prioritize being able to stack with his defense a little bit here and there, but yeah, as you can see there, it's not gotten to too impressive of levels, unfortunately. It also doesn't help that we made it so that Jiren's hitting us 30% harder now. That's definitely not helping our case. And then because it's just a normal at the end here, we are going to double-digit tank this, which is almost a little bit unfortunate because of our HP being so low. It would be really nice if we had got... There's no way. Did he just lock them in slot 3? He just locked the gods in slot 3. Oh, dude. That is so unfortunate. Okay. Because of what just happened. The Dokkan attack now can't go onto the gods, which means the Dokkan attack is going to do basically nothing. Because neither of these units are going to hit hard enough for that. So... Shoot, man. That really sucks. Okay, well, I think now is the time we transform with the gods. Since we have the domain active and we know that we can dodge, we should transform with them. So let's go ahead and do that. Now, we can potentially use their active skill as well, but the active skill is not going to kill here, so there's really no point in that. We might as well save that potentially for the last phase of the fight. Because remember, we still got a whole nother Jiren to fight after this with almost double the HP. Okay, and honestly, because of the way that everything is looking right now, we're this far into the fight, that was a really unfortunate lock. That kind of screwed us here. I'm doing this. We're going to proc a Whis. I don't think it's worth it. I think our chances of death here are way too high. Especially because of the domain activating on Jiren. Yeah, this is probably the right way to go. Now, it's very reasonably possible that Gotenks would have just had to tank normals, and he would have been fine to tank that. But the thing is, he wouldn't. His defense is so low, he's going to need that extra damage reduction even to tank. Like, he might even be a little bit scary here. With the one Whis active, yeah. But since we're using the one Whis, I don't really care about items, I might as well use the other Whis. I would rather save the other Whis for the final phase. So, let's, yeah, I guess we'll just continue on like this, then. I want the gods to get all of the orbs on the right side. Okay, moment of truth. Let's see if that one Whis is enough to hold out for the turn. And so obviously with this slot 1 super, Gotenks has to proc his high chance for that extra defense. And it did proc. Awesome. Yeah, otherwise there definitely would have been some damage leaking through right there, right? With a 3.9 million attack stat, that's been 30% buffed by the, by the domain. Oh, and he got sealed, so now Gotenks doesn't even get to do the Dokkan attack. So yeah, this is literally going to be such a measly Dokkan attack. It's going to do, like, nothing. I would be surprised and impressed and thankful if we even get a full heal off of it. Because remember, the amount that you heal from the Dokkan attack is dependent on the amount of damage you do with the Dokkan attack. But that just hasn't been a relevant factor for years because of how high attack stats have gotten. Yeah, like 13 million. There's no way we don't heal all of our HP back with that, right? Had that not been a critical hit, then it would have been possible to see it be a low enough number. But yeah, obviously, as you saw, it did basically nothing there, which really, really hurts. It would have been nice for that to do like 2 full bars of HP, which it probably would have with the gods. That being said, the gods are still going to have a pretty heavy, damaging turn here. They still have a lot of attack output to go. Nice, lots of dodges in there. We like to see that. Okay, yeah, 52 million attack stat. Definitely would have been a better Dokkan attack to see, right? And honestly, the most unfortunate part is that they're going to be rotated off now. So, yeah, that hurts us a lot. Not having them on rotation is going to be a really, really big hurt for this next phase coming up, which is the main thing that makes me think we're going to need that Whis later on, because we don't have the gods on rotation, right? Yes, there we go. Keep the damage coming in. You love to see it. Alright, very good stuff. And he still does have a little bit of HP left, which means we get to stall out for one more turn here before moving on to that final phase. So that's essentially just going to be one extra turn of not having to worry about not having the LR gods around or anything, right? Okay, so we do... Oh, they got locked in slot 1, no. So we do have the one Whis active right now. Now... this is going to be the right way to run the rotation. So the question is that one Whis going to be enough? The 40% damage reduction going to be enough to help us here? Because he's got what, 2.1 million damage on his normals? I don't even think he can survive in slot 1. I'm pretty sure we have to use the other Whis here to live. And just because there's a group attack coming up front too... yeah, that kind of scares me a lot. Because of that, let's go ahead and use the other Whis. Yeah, let's do that. And then we'll still have this Whis active for the next turn as well, going into that final phase of the fight, right? So that shouldn't be too bad. And then I do want to rotate off Tech UI because he's about to lose his domain. So he's not going to be as helpful of a unit for us. Oh, dude. I'm so glad I used the Whis. Oof. Oh, my goodness. Very glad I used the Whis there. That would have been really, really bad for us. Okay, I'm thinking with the physical Gogeta here, we should be able to do enough damage to finish off the phase. If not, we still have a couple counters coming in from the Tech UI and stuff, right? But then, yeah, we'll get the other Tech UI's domain up immediately so that he can do some dodging, because this last phase, remember, is where the dodge canceling comes in. So yeah, we're going to want to make sure to have 3 full turns of dodge canceling if possible. Yeah, I think the Whis were properly played. Had we not used them the way that we did, we would have been KO'd by now, for sure. That's one thing that kind of hurts about this fight, right? Obviously, I'm not using the strongest version of this team build that we could use. I was just going with, the whole Tech UI thing to be able to, evade, or, you know, to not deal with the attack disabling and stuff in this final phase. But if you wanted to ignore that kind of thing and just not bring dodging units on your team, you probably could just tank this with like a stronger Power Beyond Super Saiyan build in general. But yeah, I think I liked the idea of what we had going here. But yeah, the one thing that is with this team build is that there's a lot of RNG included. So yeah, it just kind of feels bad to get through all like 4 phases and stuff, and then just the character locking essentially was what's screwing us up there. Okay, so essentially we've got 3 turns to do this. 3 turns is all we've got here. Let's see, he doesn't get any extra bonuses or anything at lower HP numbers and stuff, so we'll go ahead and just launch our active skills now. We want to try, if we're lucky, I don't think it's going to happen, but if we're lucky, we will get him below 50% HP this turn, or I guess ourselves below 50% HP this turn. That would be, either one of those would be ideal. Okay, who do we want to keep on rotation? I'm thinking we probably, at this point, want to keep the Int Vegeta on rotation, just to make sure we can hold on to that revive. Having that revive around is probably going to be quite useful. So yeah, that being considered, we'll go ahead and keep Tech UI in slot 1 here. He's not going to be providing a ton of counterattack damage, just because of the way the attacks are placed for the turn, but that's not the biggest deal. And then I think I would like to grab these for Gotenks. So we'll save some of those tech orbs on the right side for next turn, since we have the gods coming back. Okay, and then again, we don't really need to worry about being KO'd on this rotation, just because we have the revive available. But that's probably not going to happen anyway, because we still have the Whis up. One of the 2 Whis is still active here. So as far as attack stats go, this guy's attack stat is 1 million in base, and then his super attack damage is 2.2 million, so not quite as much as the last phase, and we're also not dealing with an AoE, but he gives himself an 80% attack and defense raise when launching his super, so that is the thing that's gonna definitely cause, you know, a bit of an uptick in the amount of damage he's able to do here. So yeah, that means his normals are going to hit for 1.8 million after he supers. And then his super itself is probably going to hit for close to 3 million. So yeah, again, we should still be safe on this turn because of the Whis here. But then starting next turn, we are dry. We are no items. We still have the support memory for a little bit of extra stat buff, but it's not going to be anything much. Okay, here we go. This is what I like to see, getting as much damage in as possible here. It's going to be really, really up to the LR Gods on the next rotation to just provide so much damage for us, right? Because once we lose that ability to dodge, when this domain wears off after 3 turns, it's going to be very, very treacherous waters here. Okay, and there's the super. Let's hope for that defense to proc again. And it does. Awesome. Oh, he crits. Oh my goodness. I didn't even realize he crits when he super attacks. That was one detail I missed. Yeah, definitely good that that extra defense procced. Wow. Okay. So, we have 2 turns left of dodge ability. We already saw that the Blue Gogeta can't tank. He wasn't tanking against the type advantage enemy, who was granted hitting a little bit stronger, but that was still through Whis and stuff. We don't have a Whis active. Yeah, we definitely have to use the target skill mechanic, and then I think it's going to be wise with the target skill mechanic to keep him off rotation as well. Rotate him off here will probably be the best way to go. Okay, a little bit of extra damage there. Cool, and now we have that Team Protector mechanic in. So he is going to guaranteed dodge all the attacks for the turn. Which, actually, funny enough, I wonder about the way this is worded. The character... Okay, yeah, all... evades enemies' attacks for 1 turn. So I wonder if on a fight that dodge cancels, if you proc that, if it just won't, like, if you won't evade the attacks. They'll all be targeted onto you, but then you won't evade them. I would assume that's the way it works. So the domain is definitely helping us out here, right? Okay. So, let's see. We're gonna put... Yeah, 4 rainbow orbs on the gods is good. That's gonna give them a lot of attacking power for the turn. And then... Super Saiyan 4 Goku. Guess we can just get all of these orbs. And then we might as well grab these. As long as we get the 1 rainbow orb is the main thing for him, right? Okay. Perfect. So free dodging in there. And then now this right here is like the moment of truth. We really need to see how much damage we can apply here with the gods. They are like basically only hope at survival at this point. We have to do a shit ton of damage here with them because we're about to have a bit of a precarious turn on the next turn with the 2 tech UIs. And then if we're able to survive through that, I imagine maybe we would only have 1 turn left before we're just out of options and we get KO'd here, right? So yeah, we've got to definitely do as much damage as possible. So far, so good, though. The main thing that's really good is that we're definitely going to be below 50% HP on him. So in the off chance, I mean, I wouldn't imagine that we're going to... I wouldn't imagine that we're going to KO on the next phase. So when we come back around onto this rotation, then we'll have access to the Elder God's active skill, and then they'll be able to... you know, provide a very heavy damaging active for us. That's going to be quite nice. I didn't even bother checking their, like, defensive stat or anything, but I wonder if they could still keep up, even with the dodge canceling not being available for us anymore. Or I guess the dodge canceling being active again, and, you know, Jiren canceling all of our potential chances to dodge here. I wonder if they would still just be able to tank in slot 1. Because that would be the most helpful thing when we do have to come back to this rotation, right? If not, it might be a situation of depending on Go tanks again. But the thing is, that's really scary is that crit when supering, right? And we don't have any scouters on this team to be able to know exactly where those supers are going to be at. But yeah, him critting on super is like definitely the scariest part of the entire event, right? Oh man, it looks like we're just barely keeping up with the amount of damage that we're doing here. Okay, that's good. That's good. The fact that he just supered us at the very end, this guy has a cooldown of 8, which means we know that the super attack is not going to be launching until later in the turn. We want to keep this Goku around, yeah. Okay, and we do have the revive available. But the reason it's good we know there's not a slot 1 super is because even with the revive here, so we know we're safe for the turn and we're going to live to the next rotation, we at least know that we're going to be able to do some damage here, right? Because we want to do as much damage as possible. We are starting to run out of options at this point, so every little bit of damage we can get in is going to be important at this point. I guess we'll do that. Yeah, save all that tech for the next turn. And we do have a good bit of counterattack damage that's going to come in here, too. That's nice. I wonder if the LR God's active skill is going to be enough on this next turn. That would be, like, the most ideal situation, right? Is, like, we go on to, you know, transfer to next turn, regardless if we get KO'd here in Revive, or if we just end up making it through the rotation, whatever, then just being able to proc the LR God's active skill and immediately KO. That would be, like, the most ideal thing. It looks like that's probably going to be possible. We're doing a good bit of damage here, so he's only going to have probably, like, 1 bar of HP left at the end of the turn, I would imagine. Yeah, we're doing all right. Okay, I think that predicted future is what's gonna happen. Hopefully, right? Okay, and then perfect, no super attack yet. So we still get to come in here and mollywop him a little bit more. Some extra free damage on him. Man, we were actually pretty close to just KOing on this turn. I suppose that's still possible. If there is no super attack and it's all normals and we counter all of them, possibly. Maybe we could just KO him here? Let's see, let's see. It looks like we're going to be just shy. Just a little bit shy of the KO. But that's perfectly fine, because at this point we have... Oh, no, actually it's going to happen. Wow, okay, yeah. And then had we not gotten lucky enough for that to finish off, then we did have the active skill on the next turn that was going to finish things for us. Okay, well, there we go. Not a no-item run by any means. Not a pretty run by any means, but we got the job done. The main thing was to get that Power Beyond Super Saiyan mission cleared, right? So there we go. That was 5 Power Beyond Super Saiyan characters on the team. Oh, and it looks like we got the first bit of our support memory in here as well. Nice. Okay. Well, there we go. That is stage 9 taken down. What even support memory is this? It's for Bond of Master and Disciple. Okay. Interesting. So we'll have to clear through all the stage 10 missions in order to get the Easy A medals for that support memory, right? All right. Well, there we go. That is stage 9 taken down in just 3 attempts there. We're going to go ahead and wrap it up here. So thank you guys for sticking with me. Don't forget to check out the links in the description below, and I will catch you guys next time. Peace.